Now that we've seen how to add the basic map, we're going to customize that a little bit. So firstly, we'll see how to change the zoom level so that we can zoom in and out by default, and we'll change the location as well, so where we want the map to be centered. So changing the zoom level is pretty straightforward. Let's say we want to do it initially, but we could run this code anywhere. So we could change the zoom level when the user clicks a button, for example. And we only need one line of code. And we take our Google map and we animate the camera. And that's it. So if you imagine the Google map as having a camera up here, we're just animating that, which essentially is changing the zoom level and later on changing the location. So to change the zoom level, we use camera update factory, which is a bit like the bitmap factory that we saw a few videos ago, which allows you to do anything to do with the camera on the map. And then zoom to. So you can see we've got a few options there with regard to zoom. We've got zoom, zoom in, zoom out, and zoom to. And I'm going to zoom to. But the other ones are fairly straightforward as to what they do. And then we can use any number between 2 and 21 here. So 2 is maximum zoom out. So it's likely that this is 2. If you try and zoom out, I'm not zooming in. So I can't zoom out further than that. So that's zoom 2, and zoom 21 is massively zoomed in. So let's try somewhere in between. We'll try zoom 10. And then we'll just see how that looks. We are in the middle of the ocean at the moment, so zooming in too much is not going to give us that much detail. And if you've used something like Google Maps before, you'll probably realize that if you zoom in too much on a not very densely populated location, you're unlikely to get the full picture of that place. So not all locations have a zoom level up to 21. And there we go. Possibly what we might have expected. We are zoomed in, but all we can see is C. But we are, of course, in the same location as before, and I can zoom in and out. If I zoom out enough, there we are. Just off the coast there. All right, so that's how we change the default zoom level. To change the default location, let's first of all just find an interesting location to relocate to. So to find a latitude and longitude, what I use is Google Maps, and I'll search for somewhere interesting. So we'll use the Taj Mahal. Here we go. And then to get the actual latitude and longitude, if you control click on a map or right click on a PC and then click what's here, then it actually gives you the latitude and the longitude. Very useful. So I'm going to keep those. And then you may have noticed when we were doing the zooming that there was a new lat lung zoom. So this allows you to enter a latitude and a longitude and a zoom level all in one go. So let's do that. So new latitude, longitude, and zoom. And then I'm just going to paste those numbers in. So there's my latitude, there's my longitude, and let's go for a zoom level of 15. Okay, so there's all our data. It's not quite in the right format though. We need to actually create an object type of lat lung. So we'll do that using new lat lung, and then we just create the lat lung with our latitude, longitude like that. And then I think we've got one more close bracket. Okay, so that should give us a fairly zoomed in view of the location of the Taj Mahal. Let's take a look. And there we go, just what we wanted. So we can of course zoom around and zoom out and in exactly the same way. Fantastic. So quickly over to markers. I think this is very self-explanatory, and so rather than explaining it to you, I'm just going to give you a quick challenge. So can you change the marker so that it's right over the Taj Mahal and has a title of Taj Mahal? Go for it. I'm sure you managed to do that. All we need to do is copy that code. So instead of creating a lat lung from 00, we're going to create it from the location of the Taj Mahal, and of course we just change the text to Taj Mahal. Simple as that. While that's running, I think I'll just get rid of these comments. They do confuse everything a little bit. So yeah, just to remind you, we don't need to run this code in setup map. We could interact with our map anywhere in our app using just the same lines of code. And there it is. There's our pin. Tap on it and we get Taj Mahal. Fabulous. So just a couple of other things to show you. We can change the color of the pins, which is very useful, and we do that on their creation. So you can see we're creating new marker options here, and we can just add as many options as we like. We can take away them as well if we want. If we don't need a title, then we could lose that option. So if we want to change the icon, and in fact you could just have a quick look if you like at all the different options that we can use if we want to. So changing the alpha, change whether or not it's draggable, all sorts of things about it that we can change, but I think color is particularly worth having a quick look at, and we do that by changing the icon. So you could use an image here, but if we want to just change the color, we get it from bitmap descriptor factory dot default marker, and then we can choose the color using bitmap descriptor factory, and then you can see there's all the default different colors right there. So let's go for a yellow one, and that should change the color of the marker to yellow. And there it is. Beautiful. So the final thing I'm going to show you in this video is how to display the satellite view, which you're probably familiar with if you've used Google Maps. And again, that's really easy to set up. We just use mmap.setMapType, and then Google Map dot, and there you can see all the options that you're likely to want. We've got a hybrid, which is the maps on top of the satellite. We've got none, normal, which is what we're using at the moment, and just satellite, and then terrain. So let's just go for hybrid and have a quick look at that. And then I think we will have done pretty much everything that you might want to do with a Google map. And there it is. We've got our lovely satellite view right there on our phone. Fantastic. So you can see that all of the options that we've used there have pretty much been quite obviously auto-predicted. So feel free to play around and see what other crazy things you can get your maps to do. But those are all the common features, and that's all we're going to look at for now. In the next video, we'll see how we can get the user's location, which opens up a whole raft of location-based apps, which can be a lot of fun as well as extremely useful.